Draymond Green, in his, young media career, Antoine, you know what he's learning about right now? June, July, August, the old slow time. Wait, there's no games. Wait, there's not a lot of news. Oh, God, I got to go and create some content. So what should I do? And he's already in reruns. You guys, I'm just curious. Do you guys think that all of America's like, you know what we need this morning? A Shaq versus Hakeem debate. No. But you know why we did it? Because we got to create this content, baby. The wheel keeps on churning. I'm out here making lists. We're arguing about it because we got content to create. So Draymond, into his first season of his podcast, is now just restating old takes. And that's fine. And if you would like actual analysis, Draymond, I would refer you to my top 50 list, where you have a full recitation of a lot of NBA history. But the other thing that Draymond needs to recognize, if he is fairly, and it's totally in bounds, going to criticize folks in the media for how they cover the game, then he then becomes subject to the criticism for how he not only plays, but how he does media. And in media, new or old, it is important to not misquote people. I didn't say we're out here making hot takes. What I said was we're out here giving predictions. And predictions, by definition, is just a fancy way to say future telling. We are trying to look into a crystal ball that doesn't exist and tell you what we think is going to happen. Furthermore, we didn't show it there. He said nobody owns up to stuff. Nobody apologizes for things. I've given my pound of flesh on the Andrew Wiggins thing. I'm the one that tweeted it out with the moment the Warriors beat the Mavericks. Reminded America. So listen, Draymond has the ability to be a very interesting media personality. But he also is going to have to understand that petty beefs and playing tricks with people's names, yes, my given name is Nicholas, is only going to take you so far. At some point, you got to create some of that content, my friend. And it's harder to create the content when your season's over. So I get it, just spinning the wheel and saying, you know what, I'm going to say the exact thing I said about Nick, word for word again. That's fine. It got you on the show, gets the podcast a bit of a bump, but it is a bit of a grind. And so, I wish him well. I know he's got a big summer plan, a lot of boat trips, a lot of celebrating. I think he'll do great on it, but he's going to have to, at some point, get some new material.
Can I call you Nicholas or I got to call you Nick? Which one do I call you?
You can call me whatever you want. Katie calls me Little Nicky. He calls me Nicholas. My wife calls me Nicky. You can call me anything you want. Whatever you want is fine.
No, I'm going to call you Nick. I'm not going to stoop that low. I'm going to call you Nick. You should be happy, Nick, to be honest with you. All jokes aside, you should be happy. The fact that you can motivate Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and the Golden State Warriors to win an NBA championship. You was like bulletin board material for them to get to win a championship. That's the way you got to look at it. You got to take pride in the fact that Draymond Green is thinking about you after winning the championship. That's what you should feel proud about yourself. You should defend yourself on here about your take, about talking about Andrew Wiggins. I heard you apologize and say you got it wrong about Andrew Wiggins. You manned up the way you're supposed to. So he probably didn't hear that. He probably didn't watch that show and saw you take control of that and understand that Andrew Wiggins became an all-star. You said Andrew Wiggins wasn't going to be good. Hey, that's not a problem with that, Nick. I saw you say you're sorry and apologize to Wiggins and wish him luck and everything. Don't worry about that. But no, Draymond Green has to realize something. As an ex-player, a guy that's transitioned to being on the media side, you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to have a strong opinion. Right. And sometimes your opinion and your predictions are not going to be right. And it's not going to rub everybody the wrong way. So I don't know, and I believe he's had a career in it. A lot of people like what he does on his podcast. I know he's strong opinionated and everything. So he has to realize once he gets on this side of the fence 110%, he's not going to make every player happy. He's not going to be able to give takes and make everybody happy. It's impossible. You can't take everything that myself and we all say on TV to heart. We're giving our opinion. We're looking at the situation at that moment, and it can obviously change. I had the Celtics in 6. You couldn't tell me that the Celtics wasn't going to win in 6, but I had to eat that. Golden State proved me one. They 1-6. So those are some of the things that you have to do as an analyst. So hopefully he understands that coming in. I hope he's having a little fun, celebrating championships, and going through his list of everybody that predicted them not to win it. And he's just taking little shots at them. But I hope he ain't going in with this mentality, because it's going to be he ain't going to have too long of a career on this side.
Right. Look, as Twine said, I mean, I was the only one on this show that predicted Golden State. So everybody was, I mean, it was. And I'll say this to Draymond. Draymond, Nick definitely out. There's no question he apologized for Andrew Wiggins. And I took Nick to the woodshed for that take on Andrew Wiggins. So Draymond didn't have to jump in there and do it. I handled it myself. But, Nick, I'm going to say this about Draymond. Because one thing we didn't show in the podcast, and his whole old media versus new media thing, he likes to be critical of guys that didn't play in the league, right? Oh, you didn't play in the league, you don't know anything. And look, when a lot of guys didn't play in the league. Twine, I think we all respect you for having played in the league, because you can know things and you had experiences that we can never have, right? That we just won't know because of the experiences you went through that no one that didn't play in the NBA would know. However, because you didn't play in the league doesn't mean you can't have a legitimate knowledge of the game. Jeff Van Gundy, who's calling the games for ESPN, didn't play in the league. Eric Spoelstra, one of the 15 best coaches ever, didn't play in the league. And if you take that viewpoint to the logical conclusion, what do you say, Twine? Like, well, yeah, okay, you played in the league, but you weren't an all-star. You can't criticize a player that was better than you. Oh, you weren't a Hall of Famer. You get to that point and you keep going. Only Michael Jordan and LeBron could criticize people.
Well,
the bottom line is players don't like criticism, because when Shaq and Barkley criticize them, they push back just like they do on Nick and other members of the media that never played. That's what it boils down to. They don't like being criticized.
The other thing is, if we were to be logically consistent on if you didn't play, you can't levy a criticism, then if you didn't go, to journalism school, if you didn't do formal media training, you can't be because Draymond's a media critic. Let's be very clear. Draymond talks a little basketball, but his real passion is media criticism. And nobody's out here saying he's not allowed to do it. Like, even though he is not trained traditionally in it. And so, but Antoine's last point is the most important one.
Good point.
You've got to be willing to criticize players as well, and I'm yet to see that from Dre.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.